This beautiful plant is stinging nettles, Urtica dioica. It is a phenomenal medicinal herb, rich in iron, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, super nutrient dense. When used as a food source, you have to steam it or cook down the greens. I love to make breads with dried nettles and fresh nettles. You can make stinging nettle gnocchi or pastas. I add dried garbled nettles to my spice blends as well. But my favorite herbal preparation of this plant is in nutrient-rich, nutritive herbal teas. So I add it to a lot of, actually, I would say 90% of my tea blends, I add this wonderful nutritive herb. It has a lot of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, and rich in iron, so I add it to menstrual support formulas and women's support formulas, as well as cold and flu support blends as well. It's a diuretic herb, so it helps to promote the flow of urine, so it can help remove toxins from your urine. Stay hydrated when you drink nettles, drink lots of water. Nettles infusion can just make you feel uplifted after a long dormant winter. Nettles tea in the spring is one of my favorites. So it has a number of medicinal benefits, but my favorite benefits that it has, or virtues, are that it's so mineral and nutrient dense. We planted this nettles patch about 6 years ago, but it does take a while for a nettles patch to establish. It does take over. It is a very hardy perennial. It's non-native to our region here. You can find nettles growing in the wild, both the Canadian wood nettle and often in the woodland areas. You can sometimes find small patches of Urtica dioica. We have a small wild patch growing behind our house. I do harvest nettles barehanded. It's not for the faint of heart. It does sting and burn. You can feel it for days afterwards, but I quite enjoy the sting of the nettles. It helps with arthritis and different inflammation, areas of inflammation in the wrists, the knees. To harvest it without using your bare hands, you can use leather gloves and tongs to collect it. And then once you dry it, you'll have to dry it and then do a technique called garbling, where you're going to crush up those stinging hairs after they're dried. And then to prepare it in a tea, you want to bring some water to a boil and do an infusion where you let the herbs sit. Sometimes I let it sit overnight, or at least 2 to 3 hours. You let it sit in hot water. Sometimes I'll do a low simmer. But a nettles infusion is really nutrient rich.